Have you ever felt that insane pressure to come up with a totally groundbreaking, never-before-seen idea? Yeah, me too. Well, you're in the right place. Let's dive in and pull back the curtain on what it really means to be creative.
I mean, let's just start with the big one. Is anything truly original? It's the question that kind of haunts every single person trying to make something new, right? We're all told be original, invent something from scratch. But what if that's not just hard? What if it's literally impossible? Honestly, that pressure can be completely paralyzing.
So let's tackle this beast head-on. First up, the myth of originality. We're calling it a myth because for most of us, that's exactly what it is. It's this idea that creates a ton of pressure and anxiety, and it just doesn't help.
And this right here is the core of the problem, isn't it? When you believe that you have to create something out of thin air, you often just freeze. You stare at that blank page, that empty screen, waiting for some lightning bolt of pure genius that, let's be real, almost never comes. Why? Because you're trying to build from nothing.
But what if there's a better way to think about all this? A much more freeing and, frankly, more effective framework for creativity. This brings us to a game-changing idea, stealing like an artist. This concept completely flips the script on where great ideas actually come from.
Let this one sink in for a second. It's not about creation from a void, it's about connection. The idea is that everything new is really just a remix. The most innovative people out there, they aren't pulling ideas out of thin air. No way. They are masters at collecting and combining ideas that already exist in a way nobody has thought of before. And that brings us to this big concept, creative combination. This is where the real magic happens. Think about it. Your unique voice isn't about inventing a whole new color that no one's ever seen. It's about being the person who mixes red and blue to create a shade of purple that is 100% yours.
Okay, so that's the theory. Sounds good, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's get practical. We're going to pull back the curtain and deconstruct the actual blueprint behind a successful channel that was built on this exact principle.
So the secret sauce here wasn't trying to invent a totally new topic. Nope. Instead, the recipe was this really intentional fusion. A creative combination of 3 separate, totally different fields. It's kind of like being a chef who creates an amazing new dish, not by inventing a new food, but by combining existing ingredients in a really surprising and delicious way.
And here are those ingredients. First up, you have psychology. This was used to understand the why, why we behave the way we do. Then, you mix in general knowledge, which provides that broad context and makes everything super relatable. And finally, you add a dose of business to give it all a practical, real-world edge. See? None of these are new on their own, but when you put them together, that's where you get something totally unique and incredibly valuable.
But, just mixing ideas together isn't quite enough. You need a bigger vision for what you're actually building. This brings us to this really powerful analogy for turning your content from just a series of random posts into a meaningful long-term mission. Let's talk about building the fortress.
All right, let's start small, at the micro level. I want you to think of every single piece of content you create, a video, an article, a post, as a single Lego block. It's one self-contained piece, and it has one job and one job only, to solve one specific, tangible problem for your audience. That's it. It's focused and immediately useful.
So what does a Lego block actually look like? Well, one block could be a simple guide on how to invest. Another could be an explainer on how to learn a new skill fast. A third might be a blueprint for how to earn a side income. Each one is a distinct, valuable piece that stands completely on its own.
Okay, now here is where it all clicks together. Over time, as you create more and more of these Lego blocks, you're not just making a random pile of bricks. You are strategically building something much, much bigger. You're building a fortress. In this case, it was a financial and intellectual fortress, a comprehensive resource designed to empower the audience. The key is that every single little Lego block serves that one big, unified vision.
So we busted the myth of originality. We've looked at a real-world blueprint for creating something unique by combining ideas. So what now? Well, now the spotlight turns to you. It's time to start thinking about building your own creative blueprint.
So how do you even start? It's simpler than you think. First, just list out your interests. What are you passionate about? What do you know a lot about? Get it all down. Second, start looking for the intersections. Where do those passions overlap in a surprising way? That little overlap? That's your unique space. And finally, just create your very first Lego block. Solve one small problem that lives right there, at that intersection.
And really, that's the question we want to leave you with.
Forget the pressure to be original. That's a trap. Instead, ask yourself this: what are the unique things you can combine? And what is the very first Lego block you're going to build to start constructing your fortress?